All right, fine. I'll be a gracious host. How you doing?
Little Mermaid is the scariest Disney movie by far, though.
Why the hell is Ace Blade in your Kickstarter?
Some comics. I'm getting controversial today. We're gonna get controversial today with
my proudest moment is this interview and being able to talk to you two.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics, in collaboration with the Fourth Wall Productions, respectfully brings to you the 96th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I'm your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is the violet author of Ace Blade, Danny J. Quick, and together we are your two award-winning blurred comic creators, here to help you find your next favorite comic. We're live on the Age the Geekdom Network via Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, and we're also on TikTok. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. But don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review our podcast because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. Danny J. Quick, can you hear me perfectly?
I can hear you perfectly, sir.
All right, just want to make sure. Now, since you can hear me, I feel like we have a special announcement today we need to really get into.
You want to start off with the announcement?
We have an amazing guest, and again, we have Ace Blade number 6 on Kickstarter now, but
I don't know why
it wasn't there last week.
It's not actually. It's Ace Blade number 7 is on Kickstarter, but I can't for the life of me figure out how to fix that. I looked and I've tried. It just doesn't work. I'm gonna just stop going live on that page so so it doesn't come up. That's gonna be my solution.
All right, but yeah, I do want to start off on our announcement because we have an amazing guest and we don't want to waste too much of his time. But if some of you have noticed, we've been previewing, I guess, talking about our award show. I mean, that's the only way I can put it as. It's the Javon. What's up, man? Danny and I, and it felt like we had at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. We had this idea of doing an award show after 3 years of doing a podcast together. 3.
Some say 2, some say 3. It's it's debatable. We're not quite sure who's right.
There's a reason why I say this is this 3rd season, but whatever. But we wanted to throw an award show, and we were always saying that we are a show to highlight indie books, indie stuff, and I felt like this is a good idea to do it. Juan Batista, what's going on, sir? Salute to you. So, what is this award show called, Danny?
We are going to be launching the first annual Beam Awards this year, this at the end of the year. And we're going to be doing this first year is going to be, I think it'll be fun. We're not trying to complicate it too much. We're going to put up a poll at fourtailspodcast.com so that you all can submit your the best of, you might have the best anthology, the best artist, best inker. And we're just asking that you submit books that are not distributed through Diamond or Penguin, or who?
Lunar
Oh yeah,
distribution.
or Lunar. And those are our only qualifications really for indie. So if you're not distributed through, the big 3 distributors, then we say that's indie. So that's really our only restriction. And if you have a favorite comic book or comic book artist for 2023, then we ask you to put them in here on our on our little survey. We're going to tabulate all the nominees, and then the first. When are we going to start the actual voting?
Voting will start on the 20. No. What is today? Today's the 20th, right?
The 5th is going to open up the voting.
Yes, thank you.
From the 5th to the 24th, we're going to be spreading the news about voting for the top nominees, and then what we're going to do is present awards to the winners on our last episode of the season. So I think it'll be fun. It's an idea that both Kyron and I had, and we figured why not use the podcast. We've talked to enough indie creators on here that we should be able to that we should be able to get some good submissions, and we should be able to really um, do this thing. We just really want to highlight people who've been making great stuff in the indie community.
Yeah. Now, if you guys want to submit any work, you have to go to our website, fourtailspodcast.com. We're only asking that you have one entry per person.
Mhm.
And you don't have to fill out the entire thing. You don't have to put your email address
No,
in.
no, fill out the entire thing. Fill out the whole thing. If you know indie comics, you can decide a best comic artist, writer, colorist, letterer, cover, publisher, and anthology. You can fill out those things. Fill out all of them and send them in. We want to highlight as many people as we can, and we want to have as much data to make it fair as possible.
Uh, that one artist, what's his name? I love
Frog.
that one artist. What's his name? Frog, something like that. Trout. I think that's his actual name is Trout.
Oh, I thought he was talking about bass.
Oh,
Oh,
could be sturgeon. I don't know. But no, I mean, you guys, if you want to do it now, you can. The site is live, so you can go to just fourtailspodcast.com and fill it out. You're going to have until the 5th to submit. This is just for the submission for the first few days. Then once the 5th has passed, we will then open it up for voting. And that's, yeah, see, I knew it was Trout.
yeah, yeah.
Um, how do you get on the podcast? One, we are booked for the year right now, but we will start looking for people for next year in January.
Yes, in January.
But right now, we're just talking about the podcast awards. And what's the name of the awards again?
It is the Beam Awards. Don't ask
All
me what
right.
it means because I don't have it. The Building Exceptional Art and Media Award
There
is what we're calling it. You
All
had it
right.
right there.
And now this is what the award will semi look like. Maybe this is not the final design of the award.
Right. That's not. No, that's not it. But we're working on at least some certificates for the first year. Next year we might do something a little more serious. Um, but I think this is a good start. And like we said, we're not trying to complicate it too much. We just want to highlight some creators and
Yeah.
you know, show off this
Let's,
amazing
let's,
work that people have been doing in this community. So there we go. See
yeah.
why every time every
Unless it's not the Russian people again threatening us.
at least it's not. Yeah. Yes, Chaley, the Beam Award. We are
Yes.
we're starting it. Absolutely.
All right. So, see that was perfect. We talked about it. You guys can go to the website now, fourtailspodcast.com,
Yep.
submit your entries. We do want to say that not everybody that submits will be a finalist to be voted on
Right.
because we don't know how many entries there are going to be. So it could be hundreds that we get. We don't know. But definitely take it seriously. Make sure that these are works that were produced between November 1st, 2022 and November 1st, 2023. They have to have been published during that time frame. They have to be works that were in the indie community. So they can't, like Danny said, they can't be distributed through Marvel, DC. They could have worked for those companies, but they also have to have work done from the indie community too. Like Sean Hill
Right.
did some amazing work for Danny with an amazing cover for his
Yep.
Kickstarter, which is live now. It's not number 7, or it's not number 6, it's number 7.
It's number 7.
Um, But Sean Hill did some work for indie community, and he's also done work for Marvel or DC. He could be nominated because he's done work for both.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about it. So I was responding to somebody on TikTok real quick. Brother Simpson was supposed to come by the shop this week, but he couldn't make it. So, um,
Okay.
it's all good. I'm gonna catch him next time.
I Kevin said I better get an award, or I'm telling the Russians for time possible. That was
Hey,
still a highlight of the year, just when
that
they're all
was
sudden.
crazy. They were setting up a whole deal in the comments. That was
I was like,
wild.
no, we don't want to be part of no drug deals or nothing, man.
No, no.
All right, so let's bring on our guest. We wasted a lot of his time. We want, and because he has an amazing Kickstarter going on right now
Absolutely,
that
absolutely.
I'm excited for. It has some great creators on there. Um, Let me straighten that out here. So who we have today is Oscar Osorio, writer of the book and anthology. Don't push the red button. Is that all correct?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Thank you guys for having me.
No, thank you
Yeah,
for being on.
Oscar, man, it's you sent us the sneak peek of the
Mm,
story, and I read all 8 pages. So the 8 pages that you sent, I'm assuming it was the one that you wrote, was the part of the anthology
Yeah,
that you.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's my story with Francesca Fantini.
yeah, it was very emotional. It was very tense. It was just two characters talking over the stakes of the history of their situation, and it was really good, man. And just that
Thank
just
you.
that 8 pages got me to pledge, man. The art on it was great. I love the style. The mostly black and white with the splashes of red.
Yeah.
I loved it. So I pledged this morning. Is when I read it this morning, I pledged
Mhm.
directly after that. And I love the idea that you had the little QR code at the end, so I can just scan it and go straight to it, man. So, tell us about yourself and how long you've been doing comics, and what sparked this idea for Don't Push the Red Button.
Yeah. So I've been doing comics for the past 10 months, like full time.
Mhm.
Before that, I was working a corporate job. I'm an economist, so I'm an economist turned comic book writer. And yeah, I made this decision to change my career and go full into my passion. So I've been doing comics for the duration of this year, but I've been a fan for 10 plus years. I've been writing on a Substack blog for the past 3 years, I think, and I've been learning a lot from creators. And yeah, when I went into comics, my first work was a book called A Never Ending Adventure that I crowdfunded on Soup um, on June, July. And this was about my story, my journey as a creator, and what I wanted to bring into the comic book industry. So this idea actually came before that, the whole anthology. Um, I got accepted to an anthology called Fractal Realms,
Hmm.
uh, the Norse horror anthology. And had applied for a few anthologies before, so I knew how they worked, and I wanted to make one. So I got this idea from a conversation with my girlfriend. It was like when you start talking about dumb stuff, like what would you do if you had like if you were stuck? What do you prefer, getting stuck in a cage with a tiger or eating a cockroach, something like that? Like those dumb questions, like. And we were talking like if you had the opportunity to like just like get quick money but someone would die, would you do it? And
Hmm.
when we went through that, it was like this is relevant, I think, in today's world where especially from my background, I see that people prioritize money, and they are like desensitized for human life. They don't care much about human life. So this question of or this dilemma of money versus human life, and everyone is like, oh, people are dying but I got nothing to do, right? So it's out of my reach, it's up to everyone else. So this story, this anthology goes, so if you had the chance to like get money but someone dies and it's your decision, would you do it? And all the implication that this could have. This is not like a tale of saying you shouldn't do it, but it's like if you do it, there's a cost, and that's the idea that everything has a cost. So I had the idea. I talked to Francesca. She liked the idea. She made the cover, the main cover, and then I discovered how hard it is to make an anthology. I,
Mm.
I was talking to editors. I was talking to people, and it's hard. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of like coordination, and I wasn't ready back then. But then I did the crowdfunding for my book, and when that went well, I I had like a better understanding of how crowdfunding work and how you can create a book and do this. So I did it. I created a Google form so people could submit their ideas, and I launched it with a cover and with a submission form. I remember that the first day I launched the tweet and and the cover is beautiful. So everyone I showed the cover, they told me like it's a great cover, so it will get attention. And I tweeted it, and the first day was no reactions, nothing, no likes, nothing, and it was like, oh well, so that's it for this project. And the second day, I don't remember what happened, but it blew up, and we got many more than 120 submissions from creators of like many creators, a lot of backgrounds, creators that I've never heard of, and then I saw the submissions, and those were great. So yeah, that's we had a lot of stories to work with, and it was great seeing the reception. And I when I saw like so many submissions, I knew that this was like something that could work, that it had like a future. So in the meantime, I was also working with Liana Cangas, who did the variant cover, and then we put together the project. So yeah, that's how it started. So it's like it's also a passion project of mine. It's like I wanted to do an anthology, and it was like this is the anthology that I'm going to make. And yeah, right now it's cool. It's now live, and we have all the stories, and yeah, it's shaping up real nice.
Now, like you mentioned, anthologies are very difficult to produce and work with a bunch of people. Why start with an anthology instead of just doing maybe an individual issue or a short story?
Um, I think that for my idea for this, like the concept was to examine it from different perspectives. So yeah, I could have started from my perspective, my story. Initially, I wasn't supposed to create a story. I talked to Francesca, and she told me that she had someone to write the story for her. When she did the cover, she told me I can do an story for the anthology too, and I know a writer, and that was back in March when she did the cover. So yeah, like many
Hmm.
months passed, and then I spoke to her, and and said, we're launching it, we're sending the submissions, you have your writer for the story. And she tells me, no, I don't I don't have him anymore, he's not here, but I can do it with you. And for me, you've seen the art, so for me it's like it's an honor
Wow.
to put words into her art. So I said yes, of course, I'll write something. And I think that our story is like the perfect start for the anthology. So it ended up that way. So it's like the story that you can read, and yeah, if I publish that as a short story, I think it also worked. I think that there's some stories in the anthology that don't work on their own because you need to know about the concept of the anthology. So if I publish that, it's like you need a quick introduction of what is the button and what is happening. And I think that they are perfect to be included in the anthology because we are talking so much about the concept of the button and money and killing people, and that
Mhm.
you can read it and it makes sense in the context of the anthology. And that's also what I wanted to create. I didn't want an anthology that's like a bunch of stories that they are just placed one after the other, although that's like the definition of the anthology. But I wanted to create something that links the stories, and it's not like they are connected. You can read it and they work on their own, but
Yeah.
there's some reflections that I added, like words that I added, and that will link them and will create like a path that you read and you can feel that these stories share something. And yeah, it's like a detail that I wanted to include because I wanted to be you can read the stories on their own, but they are also in a subtle way they are connected. Before like themes, as I say, they don't share characters, they don't share like plot points, but there are themes that are like when you read it, you will be like in a journey through humanity, through money, through time, and you will reflect on all of these um, subjects from different perspectives. You will see what's the value of money, what's the value of time, and you will land in a stories that will tackle the dilemma from different perspectives that will make you think about many stuff. So the stories are lined up so they can work that way, and I think that that's cool. I think that when anthology come out, some people will see that it's not like story one ends and then we go to story two and there's no
Mhm.
connection, just like a blank page or something like that. But we will
I
use like
think,
words and we will make just so you can feel like you are traveling through like a journey. You're in a journey through humanity, life, and money and time.
yeah, I think anthologies are good for that. I think a very short story, like I don't have as much time to read comics anymore. But like if I can get an anthology, I can just read, one or two stories at a time. I don't have to get through 30 pages of a story. So anthologies are really good. Like sitting down to read your story this morning was like so just sit down, it was 8 pages, read it, and I enjoyed it. Like you can enjoy a 8 page story. So I think that's one thing that anthologies are really good for.
Yeah,
But I want to know, like, comics in general. Like you said, you were an economist. Why change? From having a steady job. Because we all know that comics are not as steady as working for somebody else sometimes.
yeah,
Um, what was it that made you decide to take the dive into making comics full time?
yeah. So I was um, I was working in my previous job, and I think it was a combination of many things. The first one was that I was tired. I was like burned out, and I've been doing that for 5 years. So I think
Hmm.
that, and this is like the combination with the other stuff, because while I was tired and burned out, and I was having like mental health problems, trying to um, stay afloat on something that I wasn't happy doing. But and on the other side, I was writing my blog on Substack. I was getting I was getting visits. I was getting recognized by other creators. I took Scott Snyder's class. I was talking to Scott. I was like working on my comic books, like on my free time, like many creators do. I was creating a stuff. I was writing, and I felt that I had the tools to create comic books. It was although it was rushed at the moment. Like I was like working, and then one day I just said, I don't want to keep doing something that in the long term isn't going to make me happy, because I knew that I was going to become a comic book writer eventually. So I said, I think that the best time is right now, because it's like I'm passionate about this. I have the tools to create. I know how to create a script. I know how to contact artists. I know how comic books work, because on July 2022 I created a short comic book to promote my Substack page,
Yeah.
and I had already experience creating short stories, submitting to anthologies. So yeah, I decided this is like as good time as any time will be, because right now in my other job I'm not 100%, and that's the other thing, because if I'm not doing it well, then you as you said, you have the steady income and like the safety of a job. But if you don't do it well, you may get fired or you may underperform, and that's like a, because you underperform, then they will tell me that I'm not doing well, and that will not impact my mental health positively. So it's like it was not going well. Like what I needed was new passion, and I couldn't find passion in something that I didn't enjoy doing. So my new passion was comic books, and that's where I put all my efforts in, and I'm creating comic books right now. Like I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this like for how many years, but at least I've done it, and it's been almost a year. I think that next year I'm doing it, so it will be 2 years. And if I have to return to my other job, I have the knowledge, I have the tools,
Hmm.
and I can go back. I know that I it's not like you can forget all that stuff in 2 years, And at least when I am older, I can say I did write comic books. It was just 2 years, but I did it. So that's what I wanted, because then you start growing, you have people that depend on you, you have like more responsibilities, and you get to an older age, and it would be so sad that I was like older and said, oh, I would have wanted to write a comic book, but I didn't. So
Hmm.
yeah,
I
it was the
understand.
time. And I'm
And
doing right now, I'm trying to do everything that I want. And maybe that's like the other answer as why I started with a full-on anthology, because like I'm taking this time as it's my last day writing comic books, so I wanted to do like big projects. I want to do what I want to do. And right now that I'm like self-publishing everything, it's like everything that I want to create, I'm just putting it out there, and hopefully it works, and I can get more opportunities in the future.
well, let's look at your book right now. I'm gonna bring up your Kickstarter and share that. Uh, I don't know why it's starting on that portion. All right, so we're gonna show everybody the page. Let's start at the beginning. So you are, what is this about? You have 25 days to go, and you're about a third of the way funded. So that's
Yeah,
actually not that bad.
Congrats.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing good. We're entering that phase of like the phase that the campaign doesn't move in days.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that the start was solid, and we're getting more eyes on the book. So yeah, we're excited to continue.
All right.
What made you choose Kickstarter this time instead of Zoop?
Uh, I think that, well, my experience of Kickstarter versus Soup, I think that Soup is more like they help you like closely. You have like contact with the CEO, and they help you build the campaign and everything.
Hmm.
But because Soup is newer, it doesn't have the community that Kickstarter has. It's not as big. I think that in
Sure.
Kickstarter, people get into Kickstarter, they are browsing it like they are browsing like the Amazon, like they are shopping in Kickstarter. They
Yeah.
go in. You don't have to like you get backers that you don't know at all, and they just get because they like Kickstarter as a platform. I
Mm.
think that when I was working with Soup, and I've seen other creators like when they post, they talk about Soup, and people don't know what it is, and
Yeah.
it's easy. You say it's like the Kickstarter, but another company. But just starting by that, everyone know what a Kickstarter is. And if you talk about like a crowdfunding campaign, it's you people don't say that anymore. They say a Kickstarter. So
That's
they
Yeah.
true.
they they have that. And this project is big. My other project was like my passion project. It was me with my artist, and it was like all around me. But this project is bigger than that. It has huge creators. It has huge rewards. There's a lot of people working on it. So I wanted to get as much reach as I could. So Kickstarter was the way to go.
Speaking of creators here, I see you have Travis Gibb, friend of the show. He's been on here a few times. I've worked with him also, and
Mhm.
Jerome, great guys there. So, with looking at all these creators that you have, how difficult is it to work with people who are in so many different locations around the world?
Well, I think that right now, because of social media, of well, all the opportunities we have because of the technology, it's easier. It's really easy because you just contact them through their social media. I think that the positive aspect of asking for submissions is that every creator that is here because they want to be here, because they submitted, they reach out, and it's not like I'm like trying to work with them, or I'm like they work for me, and I need to like stay on top of them, and insist that they are present here, or anything like that. They are here because they wanted to. They submitted their stories, and we're working together because everyone wanted to work together. So it's
Yeah.
great to see that many of the creators involved are also sharing the campaign, sharing it with their following. And we have I created a Discord so the team can join. Not everyone joined, but we have like a huge portion of the project there. So
Mhm.
we are just one message away to like say something when we cross like an important um, like we go from zero to $2,000, and we say, oh, we reached 2,000, and right now we're close to 4,000. So next time we are communicating there, like, please, like, keep sharing, keep working on it. We're moving. We have this like this new video, new picture, post it. And yeah, I think because of Discord, email, it's easy to communicate. And we have people from many countries in the world. We have well, in the US, people in Europe, people in Latin America, which I'm also happy because, well, I'm from Peru. We have another Peruvian. We have
Hmm.
people from Argentina, from Brazil. So it's a international team, and it's cool that we get this opportunity to work with so many people. And you will see when we make the anthology, they're different in art styles too. It's
Mm.
marvelous to see that, like, that each story is like completely different from the other one.
Now, is it too late? I know you said you already had your submissions, but Danny wanted to submit a story where he's going to write it and draw it. So we just want to know if no, Danny, no.
Hey, if it's not too late, I got some ideas now.
No, yeah, I think it's too late, but
Ah,
uh, I think that depending on how it goes, I'm there were talks about like a volume two. I had so
mm,
many stories that I wanted to include, and I reached out to creators. We even have like a stretch goal. If we go beyond the 10K and we go like into 14K territory, we
Hmm.
will add four more stories to the anthology,
wow.
because and I had like, I think there's maybe like 10 stories that I wanted to include, but it would be like too big. But there was a lot of stories that were so good, and my final decision was because what I talked before, that I wanted to create something that was related by some topics, and there were stories that were just like out there, and I couldn't get to fit that story in the anthology. Not to say that the stories that I included are bad, because they are like super good, but I think that I had like 10 more stories that could easily make into the anthology, and I wouldn't have any problem in putting there. So four of them are part of the stretch goals, and for the other ones, I've creator reach out to me, say that he wants to send the story to another anthology. So yeah, that's cool, because I think he will make it. The story is wonderful, and I had so many stories like that I said maybe we can do like a volume two in next year. But as I said, it's a lot of work. So sometimes I wake up in the morning, I'm happy, and I say I'm going to do volume five. I'm going to be doing volumes until I stop. But other days I'm like, it's a lot of work. It's really hard. So yeah, I think I'll see how this goes. And right now it's like the easy part, because it's like the crowdfunding. But
Hmm.
then we have to create the book. We have to make the book. We have to finish it. And
I
I'll
don't
see
know.
how it goes,
Crowd,
and
Crowdfunding is tough, man. It's
It is.
it's
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
second job in itself. Is just crowdfunding
yeah,
and
yeah,
doing
it
Kickstarters.
really
It
is.
really
It
is.
really is.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's true. That's true. As I
I
as I
would
go,
prefer if money wasn't a problem. Like if we didn't have to. And I'm gonna make a TikTok about this later because like my whole goal is just to be able to keep making comics. But in order to keep making comics, you got to do crowdfunding. You got to
yeah,
market. You got to sell. You got to do sales. You got to do accounting. You got to be an economist. You got to do all of this stuff
yeah,
to keep making comics. And I wish I could just sit down, write and draw and letter and make comic books, but there's so
mhm.
much other stuff that you got to do to be able to do that it's tough. So, but I think it's a worthy goal. And like you said, if you're gonna give it a shot, work your hardest at it for for an amount of time, and if and I think you'll be successful, man.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think that we're moving, and yeah, that's it's true what you said. I think that when when I went into writing comics, and then they discovered the whole business side of it, I'm lucky that I have the background that I have,
Hmm.
because there's so many people that like go directly into the artistic side, and in the art school I don't think they teach you much about the business aspect of it.
No, we don't.
And yeah, and yeah, I'm lucky, and as you said, it's like a second job. So right now it's like I'm posting, I'm reaching to sites, I'm like coming on podcasts, and I haven't write a page in the past few days because I'm doing all that stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's the work of a comic book creator.
So, what is the plans for after the Kickstarter and you've funded, you've produced a book, well, and you've distributed to all the backers? Do you think you'll then try to maybe get it into some type of distribution program like Diamond, Lunar, Penguin House, things like that, or is it you're just going to stick with crowdfunding,
Um, do you mean for this project or in general for my work?
just in general?
Yeah, I've been trying to like create other stories that I'm trying to pitch to publishers. Um, I think that, well, I did the other story that's a one shot, and this one's an anthology. I've asked around, and it's not like no one does it, but there's less publishing for anthologies and for one shots. So right
Hmm.
now I'm working on a like a 5 issue mini, um, and that's the project that I'm trying to get to publishers. So
Hmm.
that's what's next for me. But yeah, I think that crowdfunding is a it's like a great opportunity to get your work out there. So when I as time moves on, I think after the anthology is like on its way, maybe not when it's finished, but on its way, I will start working on the next like crowdfunding, maybe something smaller, or I'll see. But I think that right now, at least where I'm at, like I don't have like published books with publisher. I haven't been published yet. So right now, I think that I I'm trying to reach out and trying to get my name out there with this project, with my past project, and hopefully I get the opportunity to pitch to publishers, pitch to editors that want to see more of my work. But the plan right now is to get as much of my work out there, and sending it to a publisher is like it can be a month, and that book is not moving. So I think it's better to have like your crowdfunding project, your next crowdfunding project, because that's something that you control, you create, you are in charge of everything. So, and it's great because you can set something and you can work on it, and even if you fail, it's like you're moving, you're doing stuff, you're getting your name out there, you're talking to creators and everything. But in the other one, it's like you have a pitch, and maybe the pitch is asleep for 7 months and it doesn't move until it gets picked up, and I can't be like not working for 7 months or not having any published work, at least self-published, for 7 months, because it's too much time. So yeah, I think that with crowdfunding being what it is right now, it's the best way. At least like maybe like a short story, another one shot, uh, like a 2 issue series or something like that. But yeah, I think that crowdfunding is the way, and at least until you get like more work, like published work, and you don't have time for that anymore. But right now, for me, it's like all I have is time. So I'll I'll try to get as much work out there as I can by all the means that technology allows me to.
Nice.
I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank
All right. Well, this is the best time for us to go on to the second portion of our podcast, which is Danny's quick takes. Are you ready, Danny?
I'm ready. Let's do it. Quick takes. So, if you haven't seen the show before, Quick Takes is a rapid Q&A section where we
you.
grill our guests on things that they've posted on social media. No, I'm just playing. So, uh, I've uh, I've tried to go. I've gone through your social media. I checked out your TikTok, your Instagram, and your Twitter. And I couldn't really, because I don't speak Spanish fluently. I couldn't I couldn't I couldn't get anything from your TikTok, but I was able to get some cool questions for you. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you'll have 45 seconds each to answer each one. Okay. So question number one. Okay. And you talked about this a little bit earlier, but I want to know if you could only do one type of story for the rest of your comic book career. Would you do anthologies or would you do single issues, and why?
Um, I think I'll do single issue. I love the anthology work, but my plan with the anthology was to create something like something core, so I can say that I know how the business works, I know how everything works. But on my core, I'm a writer, so I think that anthologies. I got this short story, and there's a lot of super talented creators, but my story is like 8 pages, but single issues is like much longer, and I want to write much longer stuff for like, the rest of my life.
Right. I agree with you. I'm right there with you. Um, anthologies are anthologies are fun though. It's good to kind of break up the thing. I actually got a letter of anthology that Kyron sent me about 8 weeks ago that I haven't done yet. Um, but it won't get done today because I'm going to Charlotte. um, um, so question number two.
Ironic
Um,
part, that anthology that you're supposed to be lettering is also something that Travis Gibb and Jerome are part of, which
yeah,
so
Cool.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so in our survey that we sent you out, we asked you about the best part of creating.
Yeah.
I want to know, in your opinion so far, what is the worst part of creating and why?
Um, I think that the worst part of creating is all the all, well, it's I'm I've come to accept it by the but the worst part of creating is all the business that's behind of it. I think
Mm,
that when I made the change in careers, I was looking to kind of get out of all that culture of like the hustle culture and everything, and you come here and you see that's the comics being corrupted by all of that. But I think that if you do it in a like honest way, and you are not an asshole to anyone, you can do like a great job in making a comics and living off it, because it's inevitable. You need to live of comics.
yeah, I think the more industries you get into, you'll see money is definitely
Yeah. Yeah, and
corrupted
that's
can we
corrupted
also
most of
highlight the
them.
part where he said, "Don't be an asshole"? Like that's a big thing. Just don't be an asshole.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I think that it's pretty simple, like how to make business without getting
it,
into problems with anyone. But there's so much people that still do it and they don't care. So it seems simple, but if it were like simple, it wouldn't be happening. So maybe it isn't. I don't know.
yeah. A lot of people fall into that though. So I mean, but I think some people just do it to start drama and to get the word out about stuff. But it's not for me.
Yeah.
Um, okay, question number three. I saw in your resume, I want to say, that you put on your Dropbox that
Yeah.
you've been to 5 states in America. Is that still true?
Well, it's still true.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh yeah, I think I remember four.
Okay.
Well, it is true. I've been there, but maybe I don't remember it.
Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah.
So my question is, what is the best state in America to you?
Oh,
Of the 5 that you've been to, which one is the best?
oh, that's that's hard. That's hard because I usually like usually I fixated on the bad stuff. So I
Mm,
Oh.
so yeah, it's really hard. I think that you've got me there, like thinking of what I like the most. Because
yeah,
I like
all of them were bad, so I can't make it.
yeah, I think that California and New York are great because they have like the Comic Cons,
Hmm.
and I love. Well, I don't know if you can take this out of context. And they can. Like, it sounds bad for me, but I love Florida because everyone speaks Spanish there, so
Hey.
I feel at home. So, but yeah, it's hard. I think that in all honesty, my favorite part is I well, I usually do this road trip where I go from New York to Toronto in Canada,
Hmm.
and I go through like it's an 8 hour trip. So I go
Hmm.
through these like small towns, like everything is quiet, everything is peaceful, the homes are super big, and
Hmm.
everyone is just living their lives. And I think that that's the best part. Like everyone is calm, everything is clean, everything is like super chill,
Yeah.
and we go and eat there, and everyone is happy, no one is rushed, no one is littering.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that like the small towns in that the route of from New York to Toronto are like the best I've seen of the states. But I also am aware that that happens because there's not so many people, and
Hmm.
yeah, probably they are not as greedy as people are in other places. And I found that people in like New York, they are always going fast, and they are like so, so fixated on productivity and work. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with all of that for sure. Okay. Question number 4, and I usually save the top 5 list for number 5, but I got a special number 5 for you. So I saw that you met, much like me, back in, I think it was 2011 for you. Maybe it was earlier, but in 2012 I met Stan Lee for the first time,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I saw that you posted a picture about meeting Stan Lee, and you wrote a blog post about it.
yeah.
So I have a top 5 list for you, and I want you to tell me who are your top 5 comic book celebrities that you would like to meet.
That I would like to meet. I think that I've been fortunate enough to meet like everyone that I wanted to meet. Like it's not like well, if it's celebrities, like people also from the movies, maybe, or just
Hmm.
creators.
Yeah.
All celebrities.
Uh, I would love to meet Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay.
Well, I think pretty much everyone from like the Marvel DC movies. Because for creators, yeah, I met Stan Lee. There's a lot of creators that have passed right
Mhm.
now. So yeah, I think that maybe Henry Cavill too, Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Got two
yeah,
more in
I would
between.
also right now because of what happened like New York and the announcement. I would love to meet Tom Hardy because
Okay.
of the project he's doing with Scott and Frank Thierry and Ryan Smallman.
Hmm.
I would love to like talk to him about all the process. And I
You
think
got one
that
more.
um from comics, yeah, because my go-to answer was Chris Evans, but I got to take a picture with him like
Oh,
in C2E2 this year. So I technically shake his hand. So um, but yeah, probably Robert Downey Jr. Then
okay.
Okay.
Hey, that's a good list. That's a lovely list. Okay.
yeah.
So, now, all right. This is the question now. This is the question that it all comes down to. All right. Question number 5. Would you push the red button and why?
Yeah. Um, as I told you, I've thought about this like more hours than the average person. Not only not only because of the anthology, but because we had this conversation before, and yeah, I think and this sounds like the easy answer, but it's like my honest answer. I think that I would push the button, but I would try to use that money as beneficial as possible to as many people as possible. And in those people, it includes me, of course. So it's like I try to, because I don't want to say I wouldn't push it, because right now, um, there's like this the money is too important, and like it or not, that's the way it is. And I think that giving away the opportunity to get like a lot of money, like in a second, it's great opportunity. But also I wouldn't like spend it in like buying like 16 cars, or a plane or something like that. It's like I had all this money, maybe I would buy like a house, so I can have um like I can, as you said, my dream is to live like creating comic books and not having to worry about anything. So maybe set aside an amount that would allow me to do that, and use the rest to help people. It's like I don't aim for a luxurious life or anything, but yeah, that's my
Well,
answer.
well, Oscar, here is your opportunity. If you look under your seat, there's a red button. I'll just
How did I know you were going to do that?
play. I'm just, you would have pressed that button. So,
Yeah.
Oscar press the button. I go.
like, all right, thanks for joining
Danny's all
for
like, finally, it's all mine.
No, no, that's great. Thank you for doing that for us.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time of like searching for the questions and everything. It means a lot. I think that this is like the first interview I done that there's been so much research on me, and that's cool.
It's my favorite part of the week, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
Stalking people's social media pages is my favorite part. My favorite part of the week for sure.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you.
All
Absolutely.
right. Well, this has been fun having you on, Oscar. We want to give you a moment to, showcase yourself. So, where can people check out your work, check you out online, and follow you on your social media?
Yeah, so on Twitter, X, or Instagram, I am at Oscar OM29, and I have a Substack page that is called, well, you can find it at oscarwins.substack.com. So yeah, I encourage people like want to know more about comic books. Also follow me because of my work, but I'm passionate about putting stuff out there that helps newcomers, like tips or part of the process, how it works. Because when I got into the industry, I had a lot of help from random people that didn't know me but now have become my friends. And I want to give back to the comics community, because setting aside like the greed and the business and everything, I think that in at its core, it's a community of people that are passionate about making comic books. And I love working with people that are so happy and so excited to create stuff. And in my social media, in my Substack page, I try to talk as much of my work as I can, so I can encourage other people to start creating their own work, just as some people did with me. So I'm excited for it, and yeah, I want to reach out and to get to as many people as possible, to share that everyone has a story to tell, and if you want to create it, you can do it.
All right. Thank you. And definitely, everybody, if you're listening or watching us live, please go ahead and check out his Kickstarter. We put it in the comments. We'll also put it in the show notes so people can check it out later. So back his Kickstarter. It looks fantastic and help this anthology, come to life. Um, but Danny, where can people check you out?
Y'all know the best place to find me is also over on Kickstarter for the Ace Blade #7 Kickstarter. But our website, fourthwallpros.com, for any news and updates. And then if you want to find me on social media, it's at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms. I like the spooky text that you changed it to for
You
Halloween
like
too.
that? Yeah, they
Yeah,
they just updated that, so I'm pretty
I like
sure November 1st it'll be gone.
I like it. But Kyron, where can people find you?
You can find me at tauruscomics.com, and you can find me on all social media: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at Taurus Comics also. And, if this is your first time checking out our podcast, you can go to our website, fourtailspodcast.com. While you're there, you can vote for the Beam Awards. Well, sorry, not vote yet. You can submit your entries for the Beam Awards, but you can also go back and listen to all our past episodes. And, if you want to buy some merchandise, support us financially, you can do things there too. But this has been great, Oscar. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Now, we will not have a show next week because Danny is doing an event and he said he does not have the time to spend with me. He'd rather make money at a comic convention. So there's going to be no show next week. But that just gives you guys extra time to go to fourtailspodcast.com, submit your entries. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a flood of entries for Eighth Blade and Danny J. Quick as the favorite indie artist or writer, and that's fine. Um, yeah, I already got one, so
Oh, for real?
uh, yeah, we got one already.
Oh,
But join
wow.
us in 2 weeks where we're going to have Mally Simpson on the show. He's going to talk about something marvelous, I'm sure. And then we'll start talking about the voting for the Beam Awards. But until then, everybody, sayonara, good night, and please take care of yourselves.